Hi, Professor Wainaina here, your 5 minutes teacher on education, childhood and youth, and all things school. Welcome. Still on our conversation on the Boychild crisis, let's talk about a group called cultural Puritans. Cultural Puritans advocate for a return to traditional gender roles, positing that restoration of these roles will address the issues boys face today. However, from the perspective of cultural anthropology, this argument is inherently flawed. Cultures are not static entities, they are dynamic and continually evolving. According to the concept of cultural evolution, societies evolve over time, influenced by a multitude of factors, including technological advancements, economic shifts, and interactions with other cultures. This evolution is not linear, but rather a complex process of adaptation and innovation. The suggestion that returning to past norms can resolve modern problems is a denial of the fundamental nature of cultural change. Cultural Puritans often romanticize a golden age where traditional gender roles purportedly ensured social harmony. However, this perspective is based on a myth of cultural stasis that never existed. Historical and ethnographic records reveal that even within so-called traditional societies, gender roles were not as rigid or uniform as the Puritans suggest. Variability in gender roles and expectations existed across different societies and time periods, indicating that what is considered traditional is often a constructed and selective interpretation of history. For example, Margaret Mead's seminal work in cultural anthropology illustrated how gender roles vary significantly across cultures, and her studies among different peoples demonstrated that gender roles are culturally constructed rather than biologically determined. In some societies, roles that Puritans might label as traditionally masculine or feminine were reversed or distributed differently, underscoring the fluidity of cultural norms. The modern world is characterized by unprecedented changes in technology, economy, and social structures. And these changes demand a re-evaluation of traditional norms to better align with contemporary realities. The issues facing boys today, such as educational underachievement, mental health struggles, and social pressures, cannot be effectively addressed by retreating to outdated gender roles. Instead, solutions must be rooted in the present, incorporating an understanding of the current cultural context. One critical area where traditional gender roles fall short is in preparing boys for the demands of a rapidly changing world. The skills needed in today's economy, for example, creativity, collaboration, emotional intelligence, and adaptability, are not fostered by rigid adherence to traditional masculinity. Boys need to be encouraged to develop a diverse set of skills and interests, free from the constraints of outdated stereotypes. Cultural anthropology emphasizes the importance of cultural adaptation. Societies that thrive are those that can adapt to changing conditions rather than clinging to outdated norms. The cultural Puritans approach, which seeks to re-establish traditional gender roles, is inherently anti-adaptive. It resists the necessary cultural evolution that enables societies to progress and individuals in it to flourish. Be very careful about boot camps and all sorts of forums that are being organized by to ostensibly teach your boys manhood. They are very dangerous, especially when they are designed by Puritans and the let's go back to our roots crowd. Go back to what? History does not move backwards, and there is nothing to go back to. There's the hocus pocus will leave your son more confused and about their roles and less able to cope with the pressures of growing up male in a society that has defined not only gender roles, but gender itself. The argument that returning to traditional gender roles will solve the boy-child crisis is fundamentally flawed from a cultural anthropological perspective. Cultures are dynamic systems that continuously evolve, and attempts to revert to a static past are pseudo-intellectual. They are unrealistic and definitely counterproductive. To address the challenges facing boys today, we must embrace cultural adaptation and develop solutions that align with contemporary realities. By understanding the fluid nature of culture and the necessity of change, we can better equip boys to navigate the complexities of the modern world and contribute to a more inclusive and progressive society. Cultural Puritans, in their denial of the evolving nature of culture, fail to recognize that history does not move backwards. They are, in effect, telling boys to go back to a cultural disposition that does not exist, and there is even no means of going back. Thank you for your time. Keep it here.